Chairperson of HR Meet, Mr. Mohan Oza. Panelist, please forgive me if I wrongly pronounce the name. Mr. Ashish Tiwari, Mr. Asutosh Tiwari, Jane Najo, Mr. Ajay Mishra, distinguished guests on the dais, HR professionals and practitioners, academicians, and last but not the least, Dr. Malvika Desai, who has come all the way from Calcutta, and brothers and sisters. This is a great privilege to me to have given the opportunity to say something in this August gathering. I am very thankful to the steering committee of HR Meet and the organizers. The theme itself, productivity through employee motivation. Motivation is the word which we often talk about while dealing with the people, because it has been empirically proved that people are the most important resources in the organization, without which what remains is the desk, bench, maybe building, good ambience, and everything else. So I think motivation is quite a psychological process, which you agree with me, because we cannot generalize the people. People born even in the same family, maybe having different types of behaviors on the basis of their attitude, their thinking, their expectation. So we cannot have a common technique to motivate all the people. I think it is a very foolish question to say how would you motivate people, because there is no generalization. We cannot. CEO Shepal Gaur, Mr. Ashish Tiwari, Principal Director, ACE Institute of Management, Mr. Ajay Mishra, CEO Siddhartha Development Bank, Mr. Jain Nadu, academician and entrepreneur.
First of all, good afternoon to all. I am Sarju Ranji, Human Resources Manager from Solti Town Plaza. Actually, we had a great launch. Thank you to the organizers. I am feeling obliged to be nominated as leader from Group 1. I am proud to tell you that 3 of us will be going to do the presentation from our team.
Okay, good afternoon, namaste, ladies and gentlemen. We are Group 2 here presenting on talent management and recruiting and staff best in class. Okay, this presentation is based on our discussion. However, there might be other reasons and factors too. So as per our discussion, we came to know that recruitment and staff best in class comes under talent management. So here we'll be more talking into talent management. Can we have a other slide, please?
And thank you, Rasmi, for making me come here. And I would like to thank my group members too by contributing so much of things in talent management. Okay. So first of all, I would like to start with what talent management has defined. Okay. So talent management is all about attracting sources, and once we get the right people, then we try to align them with their remunerations and we work on their compensations. And it is all about identifying your people and your objectives. So we need to recruit people who has an aligned objective with our organization, and then we need to understand how to motivate them, and we need to have a very successful retention policy for our employees, and then we need to target them for development and training, and making plans so that we capitalize on who we have recruited, and finally developing an efficient succession plan to retain them, because our last topic is having the best in class work teams.
Good afternoon, respected judges.
Good afternoon, respected judges, and thank you HR Meet 2016. And because of this meet, we are here. Please ask me.
I was continuing. Good afternoon, respected judges, international and domestic speakers, and my colleagues over there. Last but not the least, Growth Sellers team. Thank you so much. It is our privilege that you've given us a wonderful platform that we can have networking. We never had such kind of session, and this is my first time. Thank you so much. I'm very much privileged and obliged. So with this, I would like to move on to our topic. I'm Ashma Shah. I've chosen team leader for Group 3. So I'll be representing Group 3. For today's our topic, two of the members has been chosen.
I am Himraj Sharma.
Currently, everyone knows 2 or 3 names who are top in the world because of their subscribers, users. Because India is 1.2 billion, more than 1.2 billion with population, and they have a huge number of transactions. And moreover, due to our neighborhood with India and China, we always hear the news.
They are motivated and they are spreading positive environment and good environment in the organization. Likewise, we can see in Growth Seller, we have good apex bodies, and we have line of job interviewees who are lined up to face the interview, and they are eager to get into this very well reputed and
Hello, good afternoon everybody, and Samavesi Namaskar. I represent the team 8, that is a group 8, and we have been given a topic, building sustainable leadership pipeline in organization. Well, our presentation is divided into the 3 parts. One, the first would be a heinous crime, second would be the background, and third would be the conclusion part. And myself, Vikas Acharya, representing Panchakanya Group. So,
okay, thank you very much. I really enjoyed all the presentations. Few comments. Most of the presentations were like student work. Like I felt like I was in an MBA class listening to students, because you were all practicing managers. So you could have brought some real world experience into what you were saying. 1 or 2 groups did, but however, most were sort of like little preachy, little sort of like, this is what the textbook says, and this is what we should do. That's sort of very nice sort of HR, which is not really the case in the real world. Yeah? So let me start with the group 1, HR in managing diversity. So I think a case has to be made. HR ma case of diversity has to be there, or it has become a mantra. I think we have to challenge that. Why diversity? Diversity basically problems they are getting very, very complex. Every problem has multiple solutions. And a team full of ACE MBA or a team full of Harvard MBA are not going to solve that problem very, very clearly. A team needs a woman, somebody from a deprived background, somebody who's closer to the market, a variety of team members who can actually look at the problem in a different way and say, you know what, this problem requires multiple solutions, therefore we need a diverse team so that we have access to diverse way of thinking. Okay? So basically the team sort of jumped into why diversity on era. Aligati could have been a little better,
I was wondering, how long should I take, because I have been seeing Somesh being very strict with the groups on the time. But a word of caution for you, Somesh. I mean, I love talking. I have a podium, I have a microphone, I have a glass of water. So, I mean, what do you want? but I do understand it's a post-lunch session, and I will not take very long. Just a very quick
observations on the presentations. Ashutosh comes from the other side. I come from the other side, you know, I'm in the academia. So, but then like I also have another role to perform as a head of an institution, so I can give you the both perspectives. One, I felt, you know, the presentations were a far bit too academic, and the recommendations which came were very, very generic. I'm being a little critical because Shomesh just now said that, speak your mind out. So, yes. So, I felt that the recommendations which came were very, very generic because I understand that we are all practitioners who have been in the practice of HR for quite some time. And I thought that I would get a little more insights into the industry and the real practices than some of the very generic recommendations here. So that's one generic feedback about all the groups which are here. Lots of cliches, forgive me for saying that, lots of cliches, lots of generalized statements coming. So I expected it to be a little more specific. Very quickly I'll run through a little feedback for each of the groups. Group 1, one thing I was expecting that the group shared with us, like why diversity is important in organizations. Why are we talking about every time you go different places, people are talking about, well, we have to ensure diversity in terms of you know, ethnicity, in terms of religion, in terms of
Rather, I will rephrase some of the concepts you guys have presented during your presentation. Just 6 points, so probably I'll take only 4 minutes. First, the premises of HR is based on individual differences, and that is what diversity is. The basic concept of HR, basic role of HR is managing all the individual differences and creating synergy out of it to achieve higher productivity. And that is what diversity management is. Now the question is how we manage diversity. It is quite simple. One line solution, appreciate and accept it. That's it. Diversity will be managed. And that's the core concept. Second, in Nepal, till today, the HR is considered as cost center, not as revenue or productive center. So whatever we invest in HR, almost all the organizations are treating as cost. So until and unless we change the concept from cost to revenue, HR will not be effective. So please guys, start internal marketing, start advocating within the organization to raise the scope of human resource management. That's the need of the time. Third, leadership, supervisory skill, HR, all are quite interrelated. There are only 3 basic functions. Attract best people available in the market. Cultivate them based on your requirement. Until and unless cultivate you, then based on your requirement, the skills are unproductive.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I think it's time for vote of thanks. I would like to thank all the panelists for giving such a wonderful. Would you like to hear that or a small comment? Comment. Okay, but since Ashutosh Dai is my senior, has already mentioned, Ashish has already shared so much thing about this, and Mr. Shaw has also shared so much about it. I'm not going to give in detail, but what I would just like to share is, we've talked lots of things about favoritism. We've talked about nepotism. My dad says, in every ism, there is favoritism. So there is something that you cannot avoid. In each and every presentation, we've seen that. Probably you liked that person because you liked him. But the thing that you have to take note of is, as an HR person, this should not really affect your decision in any way or other. But you cannot really avoid ism, that's already part of it, so that's why it is. Basically, there is one thing that we have observed in these. I'm not going to go into detailed presentation, but just the gist of it. There are certain things that you've mentioned is about the training and development part. But training is an investment. We've talked about cost center and all. But training is an investment. There's something that we know, but as an HR person, you also have to prove it. Because mathematics is a universal language. And in Nepalese context, in almost all the other contexts also, there's one thing that you have to take notice. If company is investing on something, they would definitely expect a return. So when you're expecting a return as an HR person, you should have that, or you should manage it in such a way that this is the figure. As I repeat again, mathematics is a universal language and you have to somehow share it in the way. I mean, not everything comes in a figure, but you have to somehow prove it in your own ways. Now, we've talked about, sir has mentioned, we've had one industrial relation or employee-employee relation. There's one thing that we have to take note of. In our context, in the Nepalese context, I think working in lots of companies, we have already observed, it's no longer working with people, but you're working with a politician, you're working with a union leaders, you're working with so many other aspects of it. So taking those in account, then you have to think about employee-employee relations. So taking that, there is no theories that works in a Nepalese context. It's something that you have to prove, you have to do it yourself. And
You got nepotism a lot. We've seen it in practice. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Looks almost like World Cup. Entire team up there. Please be kind to the platform, don't jump. Siddharth Development Bank. MetLife.